Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5. Folks, times have been stressful. In all honesty, we need a little vacation, but since we can't quite go to Disneyland or World at the moment, we decided to go with the next best thing.
So get ready to pack your bags for a road trip that will take us all over the Disney animated TV canon. Now let's grab the High Dad soup and pencil in our destination. It's time to take an animation vacation.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dragon, you know what I just realized, right now?
What did you just realize right now?
It's kind of a shame that we don't have Tiny Toons on this.
This would have been something to point out when we were formulating, but yes.
Well, I don't think it would have applied to when we were formulating it, just because when we were formulating it, we were specifically going for the Disney stuff, so don't feel bad about it. I don't think we would have been able to fit it in anyways. Yeah. I'm just pointing it out. I can't wait to get to Tiny Toons. But I digress. So, Dragon, yes, Animation Vacation, folks. We are taking a 5-part trip into the world of the Disney animated TV movies, if you will. Now, some of them are going to be, actual TV movies like this, released on television, but with very theatrical, high-quality production values. And then others, let's say, for example, just to tease one up here, Recess School's Out, just to wet people's whistle. That's going to be one that's based on a Disney animated show, but released theatrically. So same difference. Dragon, you're the big Kim Possible guy in the room. I didn't necessarily grow up with Kim Possible, Dragon. This series came out when I was a teenager. There's a few years age difference between us. And when I was a teenager, I was kind of more moving on to stuff like movies and, like Lord of the Rings and all kinds of, I kind of veered into like a fantasy realm for a while with my Harry Potter, that kind of stuff. That's what I was focused on when I was a teenager. So you were growing up with Kim Possible, so I feel like you have a little bit more of an appreciation for it. That being said, I still watched it. It was one of those shows where I didn't necessarily follow it episode to episode. I wasn't really all that invested in it, but I still watched it from time to time. I still enjoyed it, so it still holds a nostalgic soft spot for me to a certain extent. That being said, Dragon, get ready for this, because this movie, as iconic as it is, it's arguably one of the most memorable Disney, Disney Channel movies. It's not necessarily a Disney Channel, a DCOM. It's not necessarily a DCOM, but I would say it's just out of anything that Disney Channel's done, it's pretty memorable. It's pretty high up there. And Dragon, I haven't seen it. I never saw it up until like a couple hours ago. So first reactions, buddy. This is my first reaction time here. You're gonna have the nostalgia here, but this is my hot off the presses reaction. You want to know what I thought, Dragon?
Yes, I do.
I loved it.
Did you now?
I got really swept up in it, Dragon, and it's funny because, as you know, I was kind of dealing with some family stuff earlier. So honestly, watching this was kind of like, oh God, I got to set aside the hour. It was kind of like stressful all day, oh God, I got to set aside the hour, and I don't know if I'm going to be all that invested. The opening sequence comes up, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? Sumo ninjas? Oh God, this is losing me. Dragon, honestly, the title of it all, So the Drama got to me, man. The story that you always talk about with Solo, a Star Wars story, how they were all invested in the relationship drama.
Yeah, the class of 5th graders, they went gaga for the romance, and impressed me so.
That was me with this movie, Dragon. I went gaga for the romance in this movie. I was over the moon by it. By the time that by the time that the credits rolled, Dragon, it swept me off my feet. It really did. I feel like this is a very, very tightly written movie. I love the fact that it kind of reminds me of, this is a recent pull, and a random pull, but it reminds me of Onward, in the sense that obviously it doesn't have as much pathos as Onward does, but it reminds me of Onward in the sense of it's just incredibly well constructed and tightly written, Dragon. It's just there's just a lot of gags that show up in the first act, pay off later on, and I just feel like the whole thing is just has a level of quality about it. The animation, I mean, honestly, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought that this would have been a theatrical release because the animation really is a big step up from the actual show itself. There's some swooping camera angles and dynamic lighting. It's really all the fixings for a theatrically released animated film. Okay, so Claude Coringa here. Buddy, we're gonna keep the I know you've got a bunch of suggestions for this. We're gonna keep it a little bit of a mystery for now. All I can tell you is that Recess School's Out is going to be in the lineup. But Dragon, would you like to also explain the vacation of it all?
Yes.
Before we get to your thoughts?
I'd be more than happy to. T, could you scroll up a little bit so you can show up the top of the thing, the animation?
Yeah, I can try. It might cut off the Hi Dad soup, but
Well, do as much as you can. Plus, people have seen the Hi Dad soup in the opening and everything. I think we'll just there we
okay.
How's that? That's good enough. All right. Okay, so folks, what we're doing here again with the whole animation vacation of it all is, at least this installment, very much of a Disney focus. Apparently, we kind of lucked into this because we definitely wanted to start off with Kim Possible solo drama, but kind of start, it's prom centric, and coincidentally, this week apparently was the prom season because like all the shows are doing like prom tie-in stuff. Everyone's like doing their digital proms from home and all that sort of stuff. So we're starting off right, and of course, prom kind of the lead into the summer for some people. So. Point being, we're kind of charting a course through kind of the vacation experience. So this is kind of like the kind of the thing before the vacation, which then trails into Recess School's Out. I'll say that much. As much spoilers I'm going to give you there because we're going to get to that, which of course is school letting out, and of course we'll go on from there in terms of people going on vacation within kind of the Disney TV series turn movies. That's as much as I'm going to give you.
So basically, Claude, if they actually go on a vacation during the movie, then odds are I'm not going to guarantee you that it's going to be in there, but odds are that that'll probably be a key indicator as to whether or not we're going to select it, is if the vacation itself is a factor in the movie.
Yeah.
All right, Dragon. So I'm excited to get to your thoughts. Is this as iconic as I think it is from a Kim Possible fan base point of view?
Well, yes, sir, it is. So, boy, oh boy, this Kim Possible solo drama. This is a great one. This is I got a lot of, as you can probably tell, I got a lot of love and nostalgia for Kim Possible. Of course, Bob Schooley and Mark McCorkle. These guys, they were very much pivotal within the Disney kind of TV nostalgia that I have with not only Kim Possible but also Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, two darlings of my Disney heart, if you will.
Oh yeah.
And this, of course, now originally, Tiki, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. This was originally the series finale.
I was aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah, this was going to be it, and then basically, famously with Kim Possible, people went so gaga for this. They campaigned, "How can you got to come back for a season 4?" And there was like a write-in campaign and everything, and they were brought back for a season 4. And good news for them, when they did yet another series finale, it was also really good. So, kind of two spectacular finales in a row, one could argue, and importantly, didn't drop the ball upon the return. I got to give them points there because it really could have, and it didn't, at least in my opinion. Anyway, so the point being, this was a huge event. I remember, of course, oddly given
That's the thing, Dragon. Even though I never actually watched it, I remember the event of it all. I do remember that much. I remember it being hyped up.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny. Like, I remember, the advertising even had Happy Meal toys, and of course the irony abounds, as you can probably imagine, with the Happy Meal toys for Kim Possible and what happens in the movie with the kids' meal toys. It's quite funny. And of course, I remember I taped this, man. I went to a dance myself when this thing was coming on. I taped it. And just the irony bounds as well. It's like, given the events of the thing and I don't know, it's quite. I thought it was quite ironic. Point being, I remember taping this thing the night of. It was a huge event, man. I was eager to get home and watch it. It was delightful. So it was. So that's the thing. So this is very much kind of closing the book on Kim Possible, very fittingly for a while, at least for 2 years. People thought this is the end of Kim Possible, then it comes back after the groundswell. It's the movie itself. It's very cinematic, despite literally it's just like an hour and change TV movie. It's even shorter on Disney Plus than it is probably how anyone else watched it. Where it's like it's like they shaved off a couple minutes somehow.
I was surprised to see the runtime be so short. I was expecting it to at least be like an hour 20.
Yeah. I mean, even Mask of the Phantasm's on the short side as well. So some of the greats don't need the extra time. They get down to the bare bones. Again, this is kind of like the blue meth Kim Possible. One could argue a little
It
Phantasm.
really is, man. It really is.
So of course, this movie celebrates the series hallmarks and allows allows for some really nice character progression. That's the thing I really want to highlight with Solar Drama. Allowed for some excellent character progression on all fronts, on kind of all of our characters. And also, fun fact. I mean, not to the day, obviously. I think it came out in April, but just fun fact: 15 years ago. This movie's 15 years old. Came out in 2005.
Oh, that doesn't make me feel old at all.
Okay, but here's something really cool. Of course, when I went to Comic Con, which this year probably not going to, I fingers crossed things will be cleared up by then. But I don't know if San Diego's getting canceled. I don't think I got.
Oh, don't hold your breath, buddy.
I know that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not holding my breath.
I'm kind of holding out for a solo Universal trip myself, but I'm not holding my breath for that either.
That's what I'm saying. I'm very doubtful. My point though is that when I went to Comic Con for a long time. One of my favorite returning guys at Comic Con was Dave Bullock. I've told you about Dave Bullock. Dave Bullock, story man extraordinary. He's worked in the DC AU. He directed the Justice League New Frontier, the adaptation of Darwin Cook's book. Point being, this guy, not only does he have hands in the DC of it all, Dave Bullock, phenomenal artist, story man. He's worked a little bit with Spider-Man, a little bit Spectacular Spider-Man as well, but also, big thing, he worked on some of my favorite Disney TV shows of my heart here, where he's worked on Legend of Tarzan. He's worked on he worked on Legend of Tarzan and of course Kim Possible. I want to say, I don't know if he did all the stuff for the opening of Kim Possible. He did the boards for, at least he did a lot of concept boards for Kim Possible. It was also like a reworking of a concept opening that was kind of inspired when they did the fourth season after this movie. A lot of really cool stuff. I actually bought some of his artwork from that, which is really cool. And some sketches he's done at Kim Possible, Legend of Tarzan. I love Dave Bullock, man. So that was like, to me, like, oh my God, I've kind of touched the hem of greatness in meeting Dave Bullock and buying some of the art. I have a little bit, some of the official art, some like kind of some sketches he's done his off time, some of the stuff that didn't make quite the final cut, but still, it's stuff that came from the Disney studio, man. It's awesome.
Nice.
Anyway, the point being, long way of saying got a lot of baggage when it comes to Kim Possible. Happy baggage, though. Baggage with a smiley face. Okay.
Alrighty, Dragon. So let's get into some background. Or I'm sorry, do you have background?
No, well, no, that's kind of
Dragon. I'm so that was literally I'm a podcasting robot.
Little Diablo, you're not my friend. Little Diablo.
This is what we do literally every podcast. Let's get into the background sequence.
Okay, Mr. Autopilot, if I can. We kind of already went through the personal background we have, finale stuff. That's kind of the background we have. Let's little plot summary for those who may not have seen or just remember it as well as we do, but also may just want to like a little touch on like what happened in this movie exactly. A little compressed version of it. Here it is. Okay. So, plot of the movie, quite simply, give you a little tease at the roadmap, as it were. It's prom season at Middleton High. Our teen hero, Kim Possible, is stressed over who to bring as her date as she goes up against her arch foe, Dr. Dragon, who this time has a plan that actually could work, involving kids' meals, toys, and next-gen cybertronics. Meanwhile, Kim Possible has a new boy in her life, Eric. Betrayed by the then Disney,
Eric, but evil.
Betrayed by then Disney heartthrob in the making lad, Ricky Ullman. Which then
wait. Okay, what is this guy from? I don't even remember this guy's name.
Phil of the Future. He was the lead on
the Future. Okay,
that kid, and he was in the Pixel Perfect.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, he was like kind of he was talked up to be the. That's the thing. He was talked up to be kind of the next Disney heartthrob, and he kind of dropped off the face of the earth after a while. So,
Zac Efron, he is not, sir.
That he isn't. Okay, Katie Marigold's going to send us letters now. So thanks for that. Anyway, so the point being, new boy in her life, Eric, which leads to her faithful sidekick and BFF, best friend forever, Ron Stoppable, to evaluate his relationship with Kim Possible as a whole. He's really kind of putting things under the old microscope. Like, how do I feel about this? In doing so, Ron unearths a conspiracy at the heart of his first true love, Bueno Nacho. Which leads to an army of robots on prom night and a spectacular battle for the ages, and, most importantly, a happy ending. That's the movie.
All right, so let's get into the characters, Dragon. Starting, of course, with the titular character herself, Kim Possible. Yeah. So, of course, Dragon. Let's get into the drama of it all, because, of course, with this movie, Dr. Draken finds her weakness, and that weakness is boys. And oh boy,
Not the O Boys. That's a running gag in the show. The boy band.
maybe I intended that, Dragon.
Yeah, you did. I know. I'm just.
All right. Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, but yeah. So Kim here, what I really love again, kind of basically representing all of our characters very well here, but again allowing us some room to grow within the story of the film, where Kim Possible, the ever-present, and the ever-present character trait of Kim Possible is, she's the cool adventurer, kind of a little bit of espionage, a little bit of kind of Indiana Jones and cargo pants, if you will. Very pleasant, very, very polite. Of course, the thing I always love about Kim Possible, she's just so darn pleasant and likable, and she's nice as can be. But again, dealing with these high school struggles and these blows to her self-confidence, that was like, that was her kryptonite. That was like the real thing that got under her skin. She could do anything, girl who could do anything possible. Anything is possible for this girl, except kind of the normal high school drama of it all. And we really we put her through the ringer with that yet again. We importantly though, just to kind of Claude Coringa, by the way, in the comments, as we already mentioned, love Claudie. Claudie mentioned the unfortunate live-action Kim Possible film. Now, I would like to make the point that, again, we have a situation here where Kim Possible, the key to Kim Possible is she's relatable with these issues, not a joke of being kind of like a dysfunction. It's not like the fact that it's relatable is the main distinction from like teenage girl. She can do everything, but she has problems with high school. Like, again, like it's not like that. It's like, okay, she's going through this like we all would. She's processing it. So again, just adds that air of relatability to Miss Perfect. That's always been kind of the sell of Kim Possible. That's kind of what we do here. And she's working through it like a champ versus crumpling like wet newspaper versus the live action Kim Possible movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, Dragon, I feel like a lot of the action kind of happens around her in this movie. I mean, you're right. She is kind of a central focus with how she's dealing with the drama, but really, it's more so just kind of oh boy. I don't know.
Yeah. No. I hear you though. I mean, honestly, the main thing. The main thing I want to hit with Kim Possible here is that I like her arc of kind of accepting how she's a character who by definition she breaks conventions, again, like the whole like this girl does one thing no one else in the high school does, and like everyone's impressed except her arch nemesis Bonnie Rockwaller. But my point is, again, like the mean girl in high school is still, despite everything Kim Possible can do, can always like cut her to ribbons with like the little societal within the hierarchy of the high school can always like cut her down to ribbons with that little like, what, you have everything, what's the use of saving the world if you have nobody to share it with? Take that, deal with that this movie, Kim Possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I really love that it's kind of a question for her through the movies, like what does your heart want versus what are you convinced your heart wants? That's kind of the main crux of her arc there. Just kind of reconciling what she wants, what she's wanted the whole time, versus what everyone says. Oh, you must want this. You have to want this. And hey, solution walks in that you want. End of story. Not so much, and that's why we love her.
Right. Okay. All right, Dragon. I'm sorry. I'm just chomping at the bits to get to our next character here.
Okay, take the lead.
Oh man. Okay. So yeah, Ron Stoppable Dragon's like, hello me. I can relate to Ron Stoppable so much in this movie. Dragon.
I think we all can on some level. Again, who doesn't love Ron Stoppable? Of course, played by the excellent, the wonderful Will Friedle, the Batman Beyond, if you will, Terry McGinnis. Gotta love Will Friedle.
Of course, yeah. Man, I love Ron Stoppable so much. He's always been my main draw to this show, honestly. And God, he's just so relatable here, Dragon. It's such an everyman situation. It's like, I don't know. There's just something about the friend zone of it all, where it's not necessarily being friend zoned in a brutal way by any means. It's being friend zoned in a very, like a very sort of like long-winded, like we've been friends forever and we can't possibly. Drake, you know what? I've had this thing with people who have been friends forever, and because I do have a sister where, I who I'm talking about. Like Simba and Nala kind of bugs me because of that, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, with this, it just for some reason it works, Dragon. For some reason, I really get into it. I don't know. There's just something about the Eric of it all. It's like, who hasn't faced down an Eric in their life?
Absolutely. I mean, the most remarkable thing about the Kim Ron dynamic is that they've always there's never been a will they won't they quality, but there's always been chemistry there. There's always been like, what, these two crazy kids, I could see something with that, but it's never forced and it's never expected by either party. It's just kind of there.
Yeah, totally.
This movie really works with well, and what I love about, again, as I kind of said with Kim here, what this movie really does well is that we establish the character very perfectly in kind of our opening in Act One, where Ron Stoppable, we even call it, the man has a childlike innocence and you love him for it. Childlike innocence, laughable comic foil, but now we're kind of questioning these qualities within in this whole relationship determination. And he's always been the supportive friend. We've seen her go through a few boyfriends in the show, mainly Josh Mankey. It's pretty much been the one guy, I believe. And he hasn't been like jealous of him. He's just always been like, I don't like that manky monkey thing. I don't like the whole name gag where he's terrified of monkeys, and he's always like manky monkey. It sounds too similar. I don't trust it. But that's the thing. It's never been like a romantic thing, and here it's his status quo is in danger on all fronts. That's Ron's thing. Like Nacho's in jeopardy. Kim's the whole. Basically, it's less. Basically, what I think it is. What Ron said. He feels like a third wheel, which is like, that's a nightmare in his situation. He's kind of gotten used to Monique because that's the gal pal. That's not a third wheel. I'm saying someone who really gets in the way of like their dynamic. Another guy, another rooster in the hen house, as it were. I guess that's a bad analogy. Let's just go with it. The point being, you have the third wheel, and again, he's like initially he's reused as like a third wheel, getting away with the friendship. But again, as he kind of discovers through the introspective look within himself through the movie, like getting all the way to the night of the prom, he's like, I feel something more, but I have no way. This is never going to work out for me. So it just kind of throws in the towel to an extent. Like he's circling around the bigger revelation. Like it's not just the third wheel. I'm feeling jealous. I've never felt jealous of any other guy that's been in her way. Perhaps that's a sign of something. That's really great what they do with this story. They're on the sly, which I really liked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Ron growing up and going to the prom. That's the story of the film boiled down. The boy has to grow up and go to the prom.
Okay, there's a couple gags I'd like to highlight here. One of them is the scooter. I really like the setup and payoff of that, Dragon. In the first act, it's just like, oh, look at poor Ron with his pathetic scooter. And then in the third act, Ron's just like, okay, does anyone else but me notice how slow this thing goes?
Oh God, so funny. Again, that first scooter bit that perfectly summarized the character. He's perfectly content.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, I'm just with me in the road, my machine.
He reminds me of me, Dragon. He reminds me of me. I'm perfectly content just doing my own thing, especially in my old age. I'm just like whatever.
Right.
Anyways.
All right. Okay. So that brings us to one of the all-time greats. My goodness, we get to the incomparable Dr. Dragon.
Draken is on fire this movie, Dragon. What I really love about it is that he wins.
I love Dr. Draken. I've always loved him so much. My favorite pairing of all time, of course, we did this when we recapped the Christmas special. I think one of the best episodes of all of Kim Possible is the Christmas episode because of the pairing of Ron Stoppable and Dr. Draken. Because Will Friedle and John DiMaggio are just hysterical together. It's like the funniest thing ever. And they've always had that runner of like he just never remembers Ron's name. Oh yes, you're her sidekick whose name escapes me. Oh God, this is so funny. So Dr. Dragon, as you said, Dragon's actually got his ducks in a row, which is so fascinating. And I love that we saved it for essentially what was initially.
I love how it's like such a hilarious thing that he has his ducks in a row with, which is the teen mags of it all. Yeah,
that's what gave him the edge.
It's like we see him collecting these. Okay, you know what, Dragon? I know we're kind of holding off on talking about the Eric twist, but I got to tell you, the Eric twist got to me. And then after the whole, Draken talking about the teen mags, I felt so stupid to have not gotten it. I was like, it was in front of my eyes the whole time.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about the Eric reveal because I think it's genuinely Dragon. The Eric reveal is like how Han should have been.
I know, right? Literally have written in my notes later the original Hans. That's
Yeah, totally. That's it. That's absolutely what it is. No question.
yeah. So as a Dragon here, so again, like in framing kind of our potential kind of last installment here is that Dragon in the face of again, there's reflectiveness to most of our main characters here. We're in the face of he's questioning his effectiveness as a villain at the start of things here, where it's like, Shigo, am I evil? And I love the idea of having this conversation several times. She has to give him like the pep talk, like, oh god, not again. Like, yes, you're evil, like just the old pep talk. And basically, he's kind of been reflecting lately with all the trial and tribulations and the failures, like of his rivalry with with the cheerleader. Essentially, like, am I really evil? Am I getting as much done as I should? And basically, in response to all this, he cooks up the ultimate plan. Basically, his plan Z, if you want to look at it in SpongeBob terms, Plan Z. He cooks up a plan that may actually succeed and gives him a major confidence boost. And again, the thing that kind of pairs him and Ron Stubble in a really interesting space is, again, they need that confidence boost to really get the job done. That's kind of what kind of carries them through the movie. It's like Ron's kind of pursuit of confidence, where Dr. Draken starts off with the confidence.
Mm-hmm.
For his kind of like last go at it in the course of the series, as this is kind of initially intended to be here, where he's actually threatening. He's got all his ducks in a row, and again, I love that the paralleling theme of growing up with Ron Stubble. Like, Dr. Dragon's grown up, and he's actually being a really menacing supervillain, and he's evolving, and it's just great. And I kind of found by the end of things, you can tell me if I'm crazy on this, I feel like Dr. Dragon's undoing is that he wanted to impress. He was basically, metaphorically here, he's trying to go to the prom. He's trying to gloat at the prom of his plan, where it's like he had Kim Possible, he had everything figured out. He basically won, but he didn't kill her. He didn't, he ties him up and everything because he has to gloat about his plan and everything, because he has to show off, much like the popular girl at the prom. He's got to do that. If he didn't do that,
right,
he would have won and that would have been over. But again, because that was his fatal flaw, he has to do the boys rant. If he didn't do that,
no, I hear you. Yeah, you're spot on with that.
And of course, like, I love we're taking like the classic Draken stance. You're like, you think you're all that, but you're not even close. Instead of just like, oh, you think you're all that, but you're not. Just the whole like defeat. Again, he's going away victorious for a change. It's crazy cuckoo stuff we're talking about here. And I love how Claudie's pointing out something we're going to bring up with our next character. Unless you got anything else major you want to add there with old Draken.
No, I'm good.
Okay, let's talk about Shigo.
All right, so Shigo is honestly, like, I was kind of surprised how she was on the sidelines, but in kind of a fun way, Dragon. She's pretty much, like you said, she's pretty much playing the babysitter to Draken. Even though, like you said, by the end we reveal that Draken's got all the ducks in the row, man. He doesn't need a babysitter, he's fine. But really, Shigo is kind of like, just sort of operating the stuff on the sidelines for most of the movie. Although I do really like the moment towards the end of the movie where Kim goes, pretty crazy after she mentions dating Eric.
Maybe I'll date him after you're out of the way, and then like bam, I have that awesome hit where she just goes to the banister or something. She goes to like the giant like pillar.
She goes to town so much that like after the attack's over, she's still punching away at the air.
Yeah. But yeah, so Shigo, Shigo's the constant in all this. She's like Shigo doesn't really change, but we get to see her really effective, and it's kind of this fun reveal that Shigo, she's always been the more competent. There was a little TV movie, so it wasn't necessarily like the event that this was. It was kind of a 3-parter that was marketed all together as like a TV movie. It's called Sitchin. Yeah. That was the first quote unquote movie.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
Sure. And basically, we learned that Shigo, again, she could do a lot better if she were on her own. And that's kind of what we see here, where Shigo, she is the constant who really gets to shine when Dr. Draken actually measures up and he's a competent supervillain. She really gets to be the effective, kind of like the Bond henchman. She really gets to do her thing. She's she always brought legitimacy to it, and she's legitimately impressed by Dr. Draken here with the whole, as Claude pointed out, one of the best parts of the movie for me, one of the great lines in the movie is Shigo is like trying to figure out his plan, and she just can't. And she's like, tell me what's going on your plan. Dr. Draken, he doesn't get all scared of her this time. He says, Shigo, you are smarter than Kim Possible, right? Says, yes. If you can't figure it out, then she can. You mean we might actually have a shot at doing it? Like, yes, it's such a great scene. It's like you never see Dragon that confident. Oh, and she's so legitimately impressed. It's awesome. Yeah, and again, of course, she always just kind of in parallel to Kim Possible is always kind of a jealous, green with envy, if you will. Always kind of trying to defeat Kim Possible on a physical level. Here is very much the most dangerous agent, kind of an inverse Kim Possible. She doesn't really have friends, or we know she has a family, but she's not close with her family. You know, she's this whole doesn't have the humbleness, the manners of it all. Just a very sardonic. She's complete opposite of Kim Possible, who again is just like she lives for messing with her boss, like in the casino, which we'll get to. And yeah, relishes in the villainy. It's a lot of. She goes a lot of fun, of course. Nicole Sullivan, I loved her in Buzz Lightyear. I love her here. She's can never go wrong with Nicole Sullivan.
And also John DiMaggio as well, of course.
I know it's the ultimate. Absolutely, yeah, just love him.
All right, I believe, Dragon, it's time to get into our roadmap, right?
Yes, let's go. So, folks, the way we're going to do this is we're going to kind of, instead of just like going through the entire movie, we're just going to go by the scenic land, well, not the scenic landmarks, but kind of like going to the destinations within the film. Talking about it like that. So, first up, Japan.
Okay, so this is very much a Bond-style opening, but what I like about it is that unlike a lot of Bond openings, it actually really ties to the main plot. You know, it really is just kind of like, okay, like here is the thing that Draken is after. We have to get it away from him, and we succeed for the time being.
We think. Mm-hmm. What's great about that too is I love it's just such like a little. He just kind of lucked into it with the jacket, the design being in the jacket. So. Again, like great mid-mission Bond opening, very exciting. Basically, the attempted kidnapping of Mr. Nakasumi. I want to talk about Mr. Nakasumi for a second because this is really cool. Mr. Nakasumi, he was in the first episode of Kim Possible. So again, if they thought this was the ending, they put him in the last one. And again, Dr. Draken was trying to go up against Nakasumi in the first episode as well. So it's really full circle.
Yeah. Nice.
You know, always a really nice character, and we have that fun gag where it's like he's always whispering to his assistant where he could have spoken to him the whole time, which is just hilarious.
But like I said, Dragon, honestly, I wasn't entirely sold right away on the opening just because I was like, okay, sumo ninjas, what the hell's going on here? That honestly was a little bit too Big Hero 6 for my taste, and I realize it's the same team, and this was way before Big Hero 6.
Can you tell me right now a sumo ninja isn't just cool in theory to you? Tell me.
I don't necessarily think it's that cool. I think it's maybe trying a little too hard to be cool, and that's why I say it kind of is Big Hero 6-esque.
Well, when you saw him run against the wall later on, that's what I'm talking about. He just runs against that wall.
All right. I mean, it's fine. I don't know. It's just like the opening. I just think it's nice that it ties into the plot, but it's honestly, like I said, it's not the strongest stuff in the movie because, like I said, the strongest stuff in the movie really is the drama of it all. So, you know, it's fine for what it is. It's good. It's dynamic. The animation's good, but I wasn't too invested into it until we got more into the character side of things.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I think you got some cool set pieces. Again, just talking about the location a little bit here. We're kind of in the heart of Tokyo, the neon-laced Tokyo during a parade, which is really kind of spectacular, kind of visual-wise. And we have like this awesome kind of plane chase. You know, basically, again, Kim Possible not a care in the world until she's talking about the dreads of the prom with her friend on the communicator.
Right.
Yeah, like while she's like surfing on skyscrapers.
By the way, I really that's another running gag that I really appreciate is the fact that they're all talking on the phone at really inappropriate times.
God, yeah.
Like
mother, like daughter.
Like the mother's working on the patient and he flatlines. It's like, I gotta go.
God, we never know if that guy makes it. By the way, I always want to point that out.
God, Dragon, you know, remember that Colin Farrell movie I told you about?
Yeah,
the killing of a sacred deer.
Yeah.
What if that scenario plays out? It's like, okay, you have to choose between your daughter or your two sons, and you have to kill one of them because you killed my dad.
Oh God, that's crazy.
All right.
Right, so but again, like the whole idea of like doing like a literal Bond opening version of the Kim Possible opening theme song and like kind of doing a remix of the song, that's really nice as well. You give her like a cool Bond opening line, like the whole like, "That's impossible." No, but real close. Like that's a cool entry line.
Mhm.
Like, that sort of stuff. Like, of all the running gags of Ron Stubble losing his pants, we did give him like rockets in his shorts, which is kind of cool. If you're gonna make him lose the pants, it's the most spectacular way of doing it, I guess.
Oh, and speaking of running gags of Unstoppable that get paid off, I want to mention one more, and that's
Sure.
the great the Dr. Draken at the end. It's a say my name moment, Dragon. It's a say my name moment.
It is.
Ron Stoppable.
Stoppable. Yeah.
And I feel like that's just like finally like after because that is a running joke in the show, right, Dragon?
Yeah,
That
he never remembers his name.
Yeah. Like it's like the Mr. Burns never remembering Homer Simpson's
Yeah,
name.
exactly. All right, so as you said, of course, the aftermath is very pivotal with all this, which kind of takes us to our other stuff, but also to highlight some travel here. Again, I love typical Kim Possible in the aftermath. She gets favors, and that's how she gets transported around the globe. So, very grateful, Mr. Nakasumi allows him use of the plane. He gets from point A to point B, and of course, they don't use an airport. God forbid they use an airport. They jump out of the plane. It's great. Okay, so that brings us back to let's see. Well, later, basically later, we go to the next spectacular location. We're going to lump all the Milton stuff together a little later on, but the next big location we go to is the Bermuda Triangle.
Mm. Now, Dragon, is this the actual Bermuda Triangle, or is it a casino? Yeah, is it a casino just named the Bermuda Triangle?
Well, here's the thing. I think technically the Bermuda Triangle, at least the way it's always been portrayed, has always been just kind of like a mysterious mast of water that is like it's like the triangle in between the parts of land. So I think that's what it's always been. Bear in mind, I think it might be like we're in Bermuda and hey, it's finished with the Bermuda Triangle, and this is kind of like it's a casino. Unlucky, get it? I think it's more. It's probably near the Bermuda Triangle, but yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying the Bermuda Triangle would be actually like a cool name for like a Vegas casino or something like that.
I know that is such a good idea, though, right?
right.
I'm saying I could be wrong though. I mean, I assume they're in Bermuda.
Get lost in a gambling paradise.
They haven't been to Nevada before in Kim Possible, which I know they have. That's why I don't think it's the Bermuda Triangle. But I don't know. They could have revisited it. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, let's see. So again, this is the as far as I'm aware. Technically, they did go to Nevada that one time, but I don't think they were in casinos. This is the first real casino we've ever seen in Kim Possible, which is really cool.
Yeah, and this is pretty much. I think this is a lot better than the opening set piece. I gotta say, I really like it a lot. I feel like just because we're more focused in on the characters this time around. Not to say the opening set piece is bad. I'm just saying the opening set piece is kind of like, okay, it's pretty much like a generic Kim Possible episode with a slightly fancier budget.
Well, again, they got to establish the status quo. Like, if you've never seen the show,
for sure. Not that that's bad.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, with this, it's like, it's an action set piece, but we've got all the drama, like, kind of mixed into it, like, even more so. So that makes it a little bit more dynamic for me.
Certainly. So let's see. Of course, with the casino, it really feels like Kim Possible in the big leagues, that sort of thing. It's also a little bit of the whole, we have like the gambling edge of it all, again, very Bondian with that whole element of it all. And again, like the whole story is a little bit about them growing up. And in that sense, like, hey, we're going to casino. We're all growing up now. We're on the prom. We're growing up, darn it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we have some classic Bond staples here, like the suit up under the scuba gear, like when you wash up on the beach and you do like the whole like glamorous, like you unzip the thing and hey, you're in a tuxedo or you're in like a fancy dress, really nice. Of course, Ron Stubble in his prom tux that belonged to his father, like the powder blue prom tux. It comes back, and I love that. It comes back.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, of course, Ron Stubble gets into a little misadventure here as the kid. You want to feel this one?
Oh my god, yeah, that's. I'm the Dragon. Are you a poker guy?
I'm more blackjack than poker.
You're more blackjack. Okay, I'm more poker than blackjack, honestly. And it's funny because my grandma and I had been playing poker for $5 a game about 3 or 4 times a week, and so we're really into it. But yeah, this is great where it's like Ron just does not know the game in the slightest, and He's just like kind of stumbling into a win.
It's like, what if Bond had no idea how to gamble? It's kind of like an idea. Oh god, and again, getting all chip happy. It was like he tossing his. I love how happy he gets. Like, hey, he's like, hey, we're all tossing in chips. We're all anteing up.
Right.
He thinks like the object of the game is like who can throw in theirs faster. And again, here's the important thing story wise. Like on the slide here, we keep building the theme. We keep threading the needle with our story. Here's that Ron, much to his character's charm, but also to his detriment here, and the lesson he needs to learn. His childlike nature can get him into trouble. Case in point. Gambling with a bunch of big cowboy hat wearing head honchos. That's not good. Never mess with a guy who wears a cowboy hat at the gambling table. It's never a good idea. Meanwhile, some other gamblings afoot here. Draken. Oh god, I laughed so hysterically at this Draken scene. It's just this. So Draken has a similar issue with games. He's not much of a gamer, this Dr. Draken, with Big Daddy Brotherson, who is played by Maurice LaMarche. And what's so great, he's doing like Sidney Greenstreet from Maltese Falcon, which I love. Or Casablanca, whichever Sidney Greenstreet performance you want to go to. Anyway, point being like this great trading standoff, and Draken just sucks at it. He keeps like going in half-cocked with the information, like Shiga's trying to tell him, like, well, before you go in there, you should know, like, Shiga, I got this. Of course, he gets thrown out every time. Just a lot of fun. Of course, some fun action. Of course, here's the blue meth quality of the thing here. Shigo and Kim Possible's fight scenes in this movie are sublime, man. Like the fight choreography and the animation. God. My favorite, these little bits sometimes, like the blue meth quality here. Of course, blue meth for anyone's worried, why do you keep mentioning blue meth? It's like, of course, Breaking Bad reference, folks. It's a little like, it's like the highest quality something could be like a 99% pure quality. If you like the best version of a thing is kind of what we use that analogy for. Anyway, I love the drink trade bit where basically they're fighting and like they have like a girl like bringing drinks to some people. And basically Kim grabs the drink tray. She uses like as a shield to prevent like Shiga from like impaling her. It's great.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of just very fluid, dynamic action, especially in the last act, I reckon, which we'll get to. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like, is it just me, or does the animation just gradually get better and better as the movie
That's
goes
what I'm
on?
saying. We keep threading the needle, not only story-wise, but animation-wise, as we're amping up the stakes within our 3 acts here. It's good stuff.
It's kind of like the opposite of the DuckTales movie, because the DuckTales movie blows its wad in the first scene, and then it never really looks better than that.
Really? Does it?
Yeah, that's how it goes. It's like the first scene is kind of like this Indiana Jones cold open, and then like the rest of it is kind of like it looks kind of slightly better than the animated show, except for a couple shots with some good camera angles.
By the way, I think Claude's alluding to this here. I think he's alluding to what the password was, and in the movie it was meaner. It's funny. All right, okay. So back to Middleton. Of course, I know she was in Middleton before the Bermuda Triangle. Let's just go with it, folks. Basically we're going to cover a lot of the home, kind of the new man in her life, that whole thing. So we're going back to Middleton. We're going back home to you, because you always have to go back home for a stretch.
Spider-Man, home is where the heart is.
Home we're bound.
Spider-Man, there's no place like home.
I think that's the one they should go with.
I do too.
All right, so the point being, Kim returns home, and important is when she returns home from the initial mission, just generally when she's back home, she's asking the big question, like, does saving the world mean you're destined for singles life? That's the question that's kind of echoing in her old brain there, the old noodle that Monique is saying, that's BS, don't listen to Bonnie. I love how, say what you will about Raven Simone. Again, some of her Disney ventures more successful than others. Say what you will. But again, always brought kind of a fun quality to this Monique character. Like, what point is saving the world if you have no one to share with? It's a funny bit.
Yeah, she brings more to the table than just like the stereotypical, best friend character.
Yeah.
So a little bit more sass than that. All right. So, Dragon, like we already said with Eric, the Hans of it all, man. Let's talk about the Hans of it all.
Yeah. So let's see. So Eric,
we should probably
talk about
my bad
first. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But
anyway.
Eric, okay, what I like about Eric, I'm just itching to get to the reveal, but we'll hold off on it. What I like about Eric Dragon is that I feel like what threw me off about it is that he is so down to earth. It's like I mean, granted, they draw him to be a genuinely like attractive and desirable looking guy compared to Ron Stoppable, and you can't blame him. But he's not just the stereotypical like chiseled hunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not Fred from Scooby Doo after all. He's not just like
Like, for the most part, the way he's written, he does pretty much go out of his way to sort of assimilate himself into the school. And I like how he never gives up on Ron until he reveals his true intentions. It's like he always sticks up for Ron. That's my favorite part of Eric Dragon. That's what to me kind of separates him from other characters like this.
Yeah, like he's not like, at least initially, as you see, like he's not on the slide just trying to. He's not. It doesn't seem like he's trying to push Ron out. He just kind of happens to be. But again, through no fault of his own, we think.
And I feel like he genuinely feels bad about it. At least, like I said, we think.
In part, like he feels like, oh, I feel bad, or friends feel bad about this whole relationship, but I'd like to be with her. So he's making a very compelling argument. It's almost like getting an argument with Jeff Pickles. You gotta love the guy.
Oh God, right.
So Eric, Eric, he's like Mr. Too Good to Be True, and that's the point. He's too good to be true, charmed for days. One could argue, and again, on the rewatch, it kind of occurred to me. One could argue perhaps, like he's like on the social ladder. He is what the social ladder deems Ron Stoppable should be. Like should be the guy that Kim Possible ends up with. Basically. And again, he's like nice guy. He's like, what if nice but not unique? Ron Stoppable is a unique character, and that's something that really makes him special and different from anybody else in that school. It's a nice and unique character, and again, this guy per design later on, a little cookie cutter in terms of like, okay, just general good looking guy, but again, a nice guy. That's gave him personality. But again, otherwise, the guy could blend into a crowd of like a GQ catalog. One could argue
he would be in the army of Chris's.
Sure, yes, and of course, I remember Kim Possible. Her love life, usually where it kind of goes south, is that she's always faced like an intimidation factor, where the idea is like a girl who is very publicly known for achieving the impossible, hence the namesake, doing all this like venturing around the world, kicking bad guys in the face, doing all that, and like the whole 24-hour kind of distraction quality of like the Flash or like any other hero. She's going to be off 24. She's on call 24/7. And it's either going to take you away from the boyfriend or going to intimidate the heck out of the boyfriend, which again shouldn't be an issue, but unfortunately, folks, especially at that time, was an issue. So that's that's kind of what she's contending with, and why it's been kind of like hard for her to find somebody outside of a Mankey, which didn't go well.
And then one of the things I really respect about this movie, Dragon, is that in spite of them falling out, in spite of them growing distant, I should say, they never have a stereotypical falling out with each other. There's never a moment where it's like, oh, manufactured drama, Ron, you've gone too far. You're such a loser. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he doesn't like. He has like there was a moment in the movie where he kind of could have been perceived as that moment.
The gym moment.
Yes,
right?
The moment in the gymnasium. Yeah, the moment during the prom, they could have like twisted the knife.
I was really worried about that.
Yeah.
Dragon. I was really worried about that, but instead
she heard him out.
She
heard him out. That's the big difference there. She didn't just like, oh, Ron, you're doing this because you're in jail. It's like, didn't go that way.
You're embarrassing me in front of him.
Yeah. God, yeah, yep. So again, I love how within all of this whole the Eric stories, again, Ron's side of it here, he feels he's been, replaced by either a new friend or someone special. As he dwells on it more, again, it's like, why am I so bothered by this guy's kind of the questions kind of in the back of his noggin there. And I want to highlight one of my favorite moments within all this relationship stuff, Tiki. It's a little subtle moment. I wonder if you got this. Of course, I've always loved Kim Possible's parents. Kim Possible's parents are awesome. And of course, it's a fun fact, their first names are derived from the middle names of the kids, or at least maybe vice versa. It's Dr. Ann Possible, Kimberly Ann Possible, and of course, Dr. James Timothy Possible, and the twins are named Jim and Tim. Anyway, Dr. Ann Possible, played by the wonderful Jean Smart, who was Laurie Jupiter in the Watchmen show recently.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so she is. I love that she's rooting for Ron on the sly. She's rooting for the childhood friend on the sly. When she remember the prom date comes down, and she's like, she just looks at that photo very longingly, and she's talking to Ron during the whole pizza thing. Is there anything wrong? She's rooting for those two kids to end up together, don't you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I also love how Mr. Possible is just very, very won over by Eric.
course. Good reflex. Like, I don't, God, it's just so much. It's great. That's what I'm saying. I do like, it's like a poignant, like these poignant little subtle moments, like speak volumes for the parents. Of course, like with Dr. Timothy Possible, I love, he's such a good father. Like he pauses and mutes like the TV and says, now you have my full undivided attention. There's a good father for you. He's not like big father watching the TV as the daughter yammers on. Where it's like, okay, you now have my full undivided attention. Of course, when it's about boys, he panics and gives it over to calls mom. But still, it's good. He made the effort. Okay.
All right. Woo, okie dokie. Let's now set our sights towards Dragon's Lair.
Yeah, I want to say I couldn't quite pin this down. I want to say the running gags that Draken's Lair is like always like in a different island, like a different location every time we check in on it. So it's like the same lair, but just placed in a different part of the globe. In this case, it was in the Arctic.
Huh. So you mean it's not somewhere off the South Jersey shore?
No, Tig, it's not somewhere off the South Jersey shore.
All right. So Dragon, I feel like one of the most intimidating things I've ever seen out of him is the moment where he appears. It's like, oh my God, Kim's world and her parents' world is cross paths. There he is with Dr. Possible. It's so intimidating, Dragon.
It is, and I love how they occasionally touch on this. I always love the backstory that Dr. Possible ties in the Dragon's origin, and that they were college buddies together. They were colleagues together in college, and basically that he felt bad they kind of made fun of him, and he turned to a supervillain in response to them making fun of him. So again, it was always that tie, and this feels like, again, yet another great payoff to that here. Where again, so it's like, oh, irony.
It's like a Randall from Monsters Inc. dynamic.
Yeah, pretty much, a little bit, yeah. It's like, oh, irony, it works in my favor this time. There's a little jaunty he was about that. Anyway, the point being, it's just getting great. Like, we're closing the loop on a lot of things here, and of course, the Hephaestus project being kind of the big thing we're chasing this movie here. With the only Dr. Possible knows this. He's been working on. It's a $3 billion project. It's been cultivated for 3 years. He deletes it to protect it, but of course, Dr. Possible, much to his chagrin, but also to his benefit. Man's got a steel trap mind. It's all up here. Where it's all up here. And of course, that at least honestly, the most eerie thing from the whole movie for me is what happens to Dr. Possible in this film. Because
that's what I'm saying, man. It's straight up menacing. It's like it's the most menacing that Draken has ever been.
Because remember, they actually get away with it. Dr. Possible, he's been brain tapped, and he just can't remember what happened. I felt so bad. It felt so violent. Like, seeing him victimized like that, and it's just so haunting. And it's such an eerie way we end that scene after we save Dr. Possible. Just walking off like, let's get you home, Dad. It's like, oh God, you feel like this poor guy. He's been not only has he been like dangled in front of like a giant mutated octopus life form thing. He had his brain tapped and he doesn't know it. Again, speaking of which, I love in the opening where we initially go to the Draken's Lair, we establish all the things that are going to pay off later, like the syntho drones, the mutant life form during the pep talk, the annihilation ray, the small world torture, the teenage wasteland, of course, the brain tap machines. Like it's all there. It's all set up. It's all wonderful.
And that's what I was saying earlier, Dragon. I feel like this movie is like a well-oiled machine of setup and payoff. It really is. That's what really impressed me about it.
Not a frame wasted, kids. Not a frame wasted. Yeah. And also, like the severity too, as you mentioned, like when Ron, he's not on the outs with Kim, as you already said, but he's like, he's giving some distance. He walks like Cody alert. That's like the worst that he gets, and that's not even a bad thing. You see, like, Cody alert. You see, he stitch him on pizza night, and he's
exactly. That's like the closest we get to a dramatic falling out in this movie.
We have like that fantastic scene in the treehouse, and I think one of the funniest bits in the movie. I'm sorry, it's just so funny. So the funniest bit of the movie is like Eric's at the bottom of the treehouse, and of course the house is like no girls allowed. Of course, it's freshly painted there anyway. So she's like, he's telling him he can't come up here, and she's like, "Oh, come on, Ron." And Ron has like this fantastic delivery where he says, "No, I mean he really can't come up here. Like with the slingshot, we're pushing the weight limit already, man. It's like he can't come up here." But again, like the whole anyway, he gets like the dial KP 911. Of course, learning Draken has my father. It's like stakes, man. I'm feeling them.
Right.
Okay. Point being, spectacular rescue sequence in the lair, and again, Draken not even there, man. He's thinking a step ahead. He's a hologram. You're going to see my next lair by the third act. He's teasing. This guy has his ducks in a row.
All right, Dragon. So we're on vacation, and we've done a number of trip reports, you and I, Dragon. And you know what one of my favorite things to do on vacation is?
Get a little snackage.
Exactly, get something to eat. So why don't we stop over at Bueno Nacho and see what's going on over there?
I hear it's Naco Night, assuming they still have that promotion.
Dragon, I've got some bad news.
What?
You might want to sit down for this.
Okay. What is it?
It's been discontinued, Dragon. No more Naco Night. No more Naco Night.
They canceled Naco Night?
They canceled Naco Night.
Well, next thing you're going to tell me they're out of bendy straws. Now, you know that's not true.
Dragon, Naco Night's been canceled harder than Kevin Spacey, Dragon. All right.
Anyway, there's a put down for you. Okay. The point being, let's talk about the Bueno Nacho conspiracy of it all, the whole Bueno Nacho kind of plot point of it all. So, of course, my favorite location in all of Kim Possible, by the way. I love going to Bueno Nacho. I love the Naco. I love the whole idea. I love Bueno Nacho. It's fantastic. One thing that live action movie got right, by the way.
Really cool. Yeah.
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's like the last thing I mentioned. Like, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I felt like Okay, sorry. So yeah, Greg, I feel like this team kind of has a knack for like really cool fast food establishments between this and then the noodle burgers from Big Hero 6.
Yeah, Noodle Burger Boy, the whole 9 yards. And again, Bueno Nacho, one of the few things that worked in the
I almost want to say sushi burgers, but sushi burgers actually exist and they're delicious.
Really?
Yeah, remember I told you about them at Universal Studios, remember?
Oh, no, I got you, yeah.
Yeah, the cheeseburger sushi.
No, that's the thing, I forgot about all right, I got you. Now you say cheeseburger. I got it. Okay.
Oh, so good.
Right.
Anyways. Cowfish. All right, I'm sorry. I'm drifting off here. I'm drifting off.
Anyway,
report territory.
Mr. Food, bring it in a little bit here, okay? Let's go back to the Naco. So of course I empathize with the restaurant woes of Ron Stoppable. I do. You know, and then basically I can't. Of course, especially nowadays, I'm definitely emphasizing with like the convenience.
Oh yes, very much. So,
and now this was getting us ready for what we're facing now. Only again, in his case, it was a little bit more of a mundane. Like we're introducing kids meals, but I love the ripple effect here. I love how it all assists in the grand plan here. We introduce kids meals toys to Bueno Nacho, which of course floods the business with kids, which of course was kind of a teen. Well, it was for all families, mind you, but it was mainly a teen hangout. It was kind of like Arnold's from Happy Days. It was kind of what Bueno Nacho was, you know, kind of the modern day, like not so much the 50s, but more just kind of like the 90s, to the early. The point being, it was a hangout. Okay, so. Genius plan that Draken has here that you're going to flood the market via a very prominent restaurant chain that everyone goes to of an irresistible toy design thanks to Mr. Nakasumi, very much kind of like almost the Miyazaki of the toy designers, if you will. Who can resist it? You know, those are going to be the Happy Meal toys as it were, and they're going to flood them through the market. Therefore, it's going to be in every home across the globe. Of course, means there's an occupying army in waiting via the Hephaestus project. Genius plan, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You love how he has his bases covered too, like the henchmen running certain establishments, mainly to keep I want to say he has this Lars, the giant henchman Lars, who is played by Diedrich Bader. He's the henchman and manager. He's like, I love how consumer friendly he is. I love how Did you get our favorite customer? Why haven't you gotten our favorite customer?
What I love about that is that he's consumer friendly, and yet he just instantly turns into Unstoppable's worst nightmare in spite of being so consumer friendly.
He is.
And also, Draken, I can also very much relate to the new manager showing up and just causing chaos in the workplace.
Poor Ned.
I think that's something every working stiff has been through at least once.
Yep, and the guy's like forcing the catchphrase and everything. Have a muy bueno day.
Oh yeah. God.
And of course, like the most ridiculous last straw thing. And of course, like Ron Styles' big moment where you think, okay, Ron's smartened up. He's learned, okay, the net has put a secret
This
message.
is the last straw.
No, we
No,
have
we
more.
have a whole bunch in the back.
It's so funny. It's just, oh, we have more. Oh, God. Oh, this is the last straw. This is the bendy straw. You took a wing and that, and everyone's do the face palm like it's a naked gun or something. It's hysterical.
Uh-huh.
Okay, anyways, of course, the intimidating moment is hanging up the phone. Dr. Draken is a busy man. Of course, we reveal Dr. Draken is now the new CEO of Bueno Nacho that he acquired in a hostile takeover. I don't know if that's like a movies from Dogma situation or what. I don't know what's happening there, but it's like I don't know what he meant by hostile takeover. I don't know if he had a good business savvy, given it's Draken. I think it was more like henchmen just kind of throwing people out the window. I don't know. Anyway, point being, clever plan for a change, which Dragon never has, and just a really great reveal that everything ties together via Bueno Nacho. It's just a genius plan.
Uh-huh. Okay. Cool.
All right, so then we get to the big set piece that it also connects to Bueno Nacho. We go to the Bueno Nacho Corporation, basically where Draken's big fancy schmancy office is. Basically, we're like kind of the big HQ for Bueno Nacho.
Yeah, this is where all the this is mostly what I'm talking about when it comes to the stellar animation, Dragon, the theatrical quality animation, man. That fight scene between him and Shigo, just the camera angles, and oh man, it's fantastic stuff.
Of course, I love the franchise. I love franchising Bueno Nacho, and of course, like the whole HQ set. Like this is like they have photos of the first Bueno Nacho, and like the storage room for all like the canceled promotions and everything. The giant, like the giant cactuses and tacos and that sort of stuff.
It kind of looks vaguely like like 60s era Taco Bell.
Yeah, and again, that's the point. Like, would have been around for a long time, which again,
right.
It all tracks, folks. The logic tracks, and that's a quality you can't overlook these days. And also, it's also kind of a posh place with these giant ceilings and everything for the big climax. But again, like, it's a nice corporate office. So speaking of the battle and everything, Kim Possible, we can't just we saw her in the main mission outfit at the start of things, but we got to shake things up. And here's how we're talking like movie money here is that. Kim Possible was actually able to change out of her stock outfit. She wasn't just wearing like the green top and the blue pants like she always does. She had a lot of wardrobe changes this movie.
That is refreshing. You're right. I didn't even really think about it. It was just a pretty natural addition to the movie.
Yeah. Anyway,
so really call attention to it. It's just a kind of like especially with the prom dress. It's like, yeah, of course you would have a prom dress.
Yeah, that's a nice prom dress too. It's kind of nice, kind of a nice illusion of the material there. It's kind of nice. Anyway, I really like that singeing detail. Like when she gets
I do too. Yeah,
giant robots. Of course, like I should have mentioned this. Little Diablo. So, what do you think about something the design of Little Diablos?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion one way or another on that.
Sorry, I mean like the whole Happy Meal toy turned like giant, killer robot thing. But yeah,
I know what you're talking about. They're kind of cute and scary, I guess. I don't know.
That's fair. I think it was kind of like a little Gremlins army initially that then turns into like a giant occupying terror. Anyway, okay, so battle suit. That's the main outfit we got to talk about here. So she's donning the battle suit. This is the first time this thing ever popped up, and my God, is it cool!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the blue, the white. Again, very Tron inspired, as you can probably guess by the lacrosse thing in her hand. Very Tron inspired.
Yeah. Basically, anytime we have neon blue, it's pretty much Tron inspired.
Yeah. And Disney production, so, hand in hand, or lacrosse hand in hand, however you want to word that. Mm-hmm. So again, I'd like to, the idea, it's in the Halloween special for Kim Possible, she had like this battle suit that was kind of like a clunky prototype, so like now we have like this more stylish, streamlined version of it. I love the build to all this. Like, remember she suits up, you have like the score's really good at this point, the Adam Berry score, like, it's like, oh boy, she means business now, she's got to save the boyfriend. Oh my God, she's going there, she means business. Putting on the self-healing Tron suit, and like Draken's like, oh, she's coming. Like, of course she is. Like, oh boy, we're in for a showdown. Speaking of showdown, animation, Tiki.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm just kind of repeating myself at this point, dude. It's just like lighting, dynamic camera angles, awesome awesome fight choreography. I feel like I'm just kind of listing, buzzwords at this point, but I don't know what else to say, Dragon. It's theatrical quality. That's all it is. I'm genuinely surprised that animation of this caliber didn't make it to theaters, honestly.
But again, to echo your point from earlier, again, the whole the fights are getting better and better as it goes on. Of course,
Right.
Climax and the whole the blue and green effects of the blast going up against each other. I love she's a built-in grappling line versus the hair dryer from earlier, and she has a great line one of these days we gotta take that hair dryer away from her. Think again, Shigo. Now the hair dryer is built into the suit. Never gonna happen. And of course, big reveal. Big reveal.
Okay, yes. So, like I said, what really threw me off, Dragon? What really threw me off about the reveal was when they kidnapped him, and he was like, Kim, what's going on? Because I got to admit, Dragon, throughout the whole time, I was sort of like, okay, I don't know about this guy. He seems a little bit too perfect. But then when he was genuinely scared when he got kidnapped, I was like, I don't know. I think what they're going to do is they're going to play it where, they save him, but then they realize that Ron and Kim should be together this whole time, blah, 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 such and such. I really like that we didn't have to make up a contrived reason why Kim would, because I did know that she gets with Ron by the end of the movie. I knew that much about it, but I didn't know how we were going to get there, Dragon. So, yeah, it was very much... Like I said, that I feel like it was such a good way to throw us off, right? Just kind of have the main Hans character be kidnapped. Imagine if Hans was kidnapped by the Duke of Whistleton, in Act 2 of Frozen. You know what I mean? That would have thrown us off so much.
It would have. I love the electroshock moment. That's the other haunting moment of the movie for me, where Kim's she's running as he just casually goes from the escalator to the main floor, and it's like, Eric, and she runs to him, and then they go for a hug, and then basically, actually, my name's Synthodrone number 901 or something, and then she gets the crap shocked out of her. The detail with her.
Somebody loved you.
Yeah. But I love the eye bit. That's the creepy part. Where eyes dilate, or where the reviews. Is it dilation when they get bigger? When the pupils shrink, the whole eye shrinks. You know what I mean?
But shrinking is dilation. I don't know what it is when they get bigger.
Well, I think they shrink, so it is dilate. The point being, your eyes dilate. Yeah. So, really creepy moment too. The eyes dilate. She the shock and oh god, that's how you do a Hans reveal, folks. That's how you do it, man. So then we get this, of course, all of that, the big reveal there leads to what you're talking about here with the big how these two crazy kids are on a bridge to getting together here. Beautiful heart-to-heart conversation. I love that it starts off as a pep talk from Ron. He's saying, hey, this pity fiesta's done here, man. He's lifting her before he's saying, hey, maybe we should, get together. He's helping her before it's for his own agenda. They kind of realize, look, there are better guys out there for you. Out there, in here,
right beside you.
And again, it's a sweet underplayed scene, it's just it's very genuine, of course. Then we bring the comedy with the naked mole rat, which of course is their salvation, gets them out of there with the laser lipstick. It's nice. Of course, it takes us to our big whammo blammo climax.
Our big whammo blammo climax basically being the prom itself.
Well, I was thinking more the whole the rain and the whole, well, basically the big how we kill Eric. That was I was thinking about the climax.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm sorry. How we kill Eric is it's kind of it's almost Judge Doom-esque, Dragon.
Yeah.
At all. Deflation and flattening. It's kind of horrific, to tell you the truth.
Here's the thing: we've seen that Shigo kill a Synthodrone at the start of the movie, and we go full circle with that. But here's the difference, though: that Synthodrone didn't have a face and a personality, and was a guy we were kind of bamboozled with in the movie.
Right.
And my favorite detail every time I rewatch the movie is when Rufus initially takes a disliking to him because he says, "Oh yeah, I like naked mole rats." Before he says that, Rufus is biting his really rubbery looking foot, and I love the little clues along the way. It's a really rubbery looking foot. And of course, by the end, bites him in the syntho shin, and he drains the life out of him. Of course, Kim she's firing the electromagnetic little scrambler toy gun. at the thing. He catches that. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I love about the comics. Like he's catching it. Of course, the atmosphere, the rain, the Shigo battle. It's a really well orchestrated. Again, it keeps getting better, even in like the last couple minutes. How do you get any better than that? It's raining and the robots flying around and all this. So of course, like as he topples over, I love that the naked mole rat saves the day yet again. Like he's with that bite, he falls down. The little thing shorts out the thing. We kick Shigo into the giant tower. It's like, how does it get any better? And of course, Ron Stoppel gets his "say my name" moment.
Right.
You ruined Bueno Nachos. Note serious face. Stoppable. It's great.
Okay, and then that leads to the prom itself, Dragon. Well, look at those you kids act together finally. Oh my god!
See, every time I think
that's it. Like, that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
You know, every time I think about the old analogy of these two crazy kids getting together, I think the best version of ever.
This.
What?
It's this.
No. It's something more obscure. It's
okay.
The best version of the whole those two crazy kids getting together, like acknowledgement, is the Pebbles and Bam Bam wedding. That Flintstone special where you have
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hannah and Barbera animated at the wedding say, I had a feeling those two crazy kids would get together. It's like the best version of that ever. It's what I'm always thinking of when I think of those two crazy kids, the best version of it anyway. But yes.
But this is honestly kind of like what I'm going to think of when I think of the two great. This is just so well done, man. It's so natural how it happens.
I'm talking about the analogy. This is like how you actually. This is the get two kids getting together. You're right. Yes, this is like they finally got these two crazy kids together, and it wasn't forced with a will they won't they, but it was a maybe. Teak. It was a maybe that came true.
Sure.
And of course both of them they show up to the dance holding hands. The mean girl Bonnie, she's like shouting it out there, like, "Hey, look, she's dating the loser. They're together. Kim Possible's dating Ron Stoppel." And of course, they came correct. They came unafraid, and you know what? It makes the bully look foolish because the crowd applauds the truth, man. Yeah, they got together. Why should we put that down? She saved the world. Why would who in their right mind would dislike that? It's like, why are we gonna crap on their parade? To each their own. I guess it's the good moral there. So it's a nice. The point being, it's a nice romantic capper. It's less about, like them growing up or like, changing who they are fundamentally, but it's about the evolving feelings and a change for the better, a small change for the better, but a change that's been there the whole time. It's like, Kim Possible's fear was being alone. Like, she was kind of destined to be alone romantically. And the fact is she was never alone because she always had her friend there. It was always there for her no matter what. And you know what? It was, again, it was a little more the whole time under her nose. It's the fusion of both of her lives, the two dichotomous sides of herself, the cheerleader and the world saver. He's been there on both sides of that relationship. He was there the whole time. It's a thing of beauty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So that pretty much rounds it out. Dragon, let's get to our final destination. Let's have some final thoughts, and hopefully along this final destination, none of us die from like a tragic roller coaster accident or something like that.
I didn't worry about that. Now I am.
Oh God! All right. I'm just saying the final destination of it all. You get the joke, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Dragon, final thoughts. Like I said, I'm just genuinely surprised that this isn't a theatrical release because I feel like it has all the hallmarks of it. It's the stakes are raised not just on a personal level, but on just a global scale as well. The villain finally wins. The animation is incredible. The two cute kids finally get together. It's a perfect series finale. I honestly don't really know about the post this episodes of Kim Possible, but I can't imagine that it's any more satisfying than what this brought to the table. I mean, this is just like we keep saying, folks, it's the blue meth of Kim Possible, just no other bones about it. I'm not like I said, I didn't necessarily grow up with Kim Possible, although I did watch it from time to time. But I've always appreciated Kim Possible, especially Ron Stoppable. Ron Stoppable for me was always the big draw of the show. And so to have this movie be really kind of the big Ron story of just him overcoming that one last hurdle. It's great. It's a one like I said, the teen drama is really compelling. I felt like those fifth graders watching Solo in your story you always tell. I was just really wrapped up in it. It's a twist villain done right, Dragon. That's there's just I have a lot of respect for this thing. I really do. Just it works on a lot of levels.
For me, this movie, it was a fitting event. It was so good it could have been, could have been the finale. Event so good it could have been the finale, and that hence the intention. I know again it gets muddy. They actually end on graduation, by the way, in case you're curious. It's a big event as well. It's just more like a two-part TV event. But then again, you look at the timing of all this, where this times out to be roughly an hour. It's kind of the same difference, but trust me, not as cinematic, but satisfying. Regardless. This thing, this is kind of the game changer of the status quo. We're just going to close the book on the highest note that we can think of. These two crazy kids got together. What more do you want? And fans wanted more. It was basking a little bit more. It was still fun. Anyway, so this film, it goes to show, we don't need a gimmick like live action to tell a compelling story with beloved characters that we love in animation. We don't really need how are we going to tell more characters with these stories? Well, how are we going to tell more stories with these characters? Well, we put them in live action. It gives us an excuse to do it again. Not really, guys. We don't need to do that. People will show up in droves if the animation's good, especially these days. And people are just been kind of sick of seeing things adapted in live action. And we need more stuff like this. We shouldn't. This thing, in a perfect world, this thing might have gotten a theatrical release. Bear in mind the odds have not been in the favor of those sorts of things. We're hey, we release quality stuff in 2D in theaters. Doesn't quite draw the attention that it should. At that time. Now, might be refreshing. Regardless, I didn't need to go to the theater you didn't need to go to the theater to get the theatrical treatment with this movie. You got a theatrical treatment from the comfort of home. It's this movie. It's a lot of polish, a lot of fun, and most importantly, a lot of heart. It's not a show about a spy. It's a teen girl growing up and just kind of going through that battle amidst the others. It's growing up amongst that battle and just navigating the age-old battle of growing up, and of course with her friend along the way. And it's kind of a beautiful kind of button on that story. And again, a really kind of summarized version of Kim Possible. Kind of the last great story of Kim Possible. It's a lot of fun. Blue Meth Kim Possible. It's all I got. Good stuff.
Okay. All right. So yeah, well, folks, it's time for the flight home. Don't forget to stow your luggage and fasten your seatbelts. You'll be home shortly, but don't you fret. We'll be taking off before you know it on our next destination on Animation Vacation.
Booyah!
Ron, stoppable.
Stoppable!